in an ancient chamber buried below the ground where daylight slipped in only through seams that felt like fractures. In time, a golden coffer sat utterly unmoving. Centuries of dust had settled softly across its lid, and ivy, estranged from the open air, cupped its edges like patient hands. A thin shaft of light fell from a fissure above, glinting across carvings of lion stars, and a blazing sun before coming to rest on a mark polished by generations of devotion, the seal of Solomon. The room breathed the fragrance of aged myrrh and cedar as if long-uttered prayers still hovered unspoken. Then came a sound soft as silk rubbing in a quiet room. The chest's lid lifted deliberate and steady, as if answering a summons it had always expected. Within, a scroll rested swaddled in linen predating empires. It was neither brittle nor split. It was intact, inviolate by time. Faintly luminous, its writing glowed inscribed in gold. This was no common manuscript. It was the lost prayer of Solomon, an utterance that brought rulers into harmony with the divine mind, a measured command capable of contouring reality. It was concealed not in malice, but in mercy, because authority of this magnitude could never be entrusted to the unprepared. It bided its time, for one moved not by greed, but by memory. You, the reader, have not arrived here by chance. This prayer is more than phrasing. It acts as a tuning fork for the inner life resonating with the divine register of provision and plenty. It summons the part of you that recalls Eden, the realm of unending supply before fear dimmed your sight and culture schooled you in scarcity. Florence Scovel Shinn, renowned for articulating spiritual principles in precise patterns, would have recognized this prayer by its resonance alone. She maintained that speech is neither trivial nor empty. She named words as wand's tools that enchant, unlock, and direct outcomes. Your word is your wand, she said, and the lost prayer of Solomon becomes that wand embodied. This is not entreaty, nor is it mere wishing. It is a proclamation tempered in the furnace of sacred assurance. It is the kind of prayer that does not implore the skies, but instructs them to act. Envision your voice resounding within the sanctuary of creation, no longer as a subordinate, but as a sovereign presence. The veil parts, and a memory returns. You were never divided, never deprived. Only forgetfulness obscured it. And now that memory reawakens, do you feel the movement, a soft lift in your chest, a quickening that whispers, I recognize this. The specific language may escape you, yet your deeper self remembers. This prayer, this venerable formula reverberates with a knowing your spirit has always retained. In the quiet that follows, listen for it. No vocabulary, only resonance. The lost prayer of Solomon is more than an artifact. It is animate. It functions as the chart, the spark, and the wonder all at once. Deep within, a seed is already sown. You have voiced authority before, perhaps unknowingly. In moments when urgency removed pretense and you declared, this must change, now you prayed with command, and the universe, precise and responsive, answered. This prayer intensifies such directives. It is the dialect of alignment articulated in cadence with the divine pulse. As the path unfolds, you will encounter Laura, a person very much like you. She is no cleric and no academic, merely someone who had reached her limit. Yet when these words crossed her lips, something primordial stirred. Laura remembered, and with that remembrance, the outer world reconfigured to reflect her renewed resonance. But that lies just ahead. For the present, allow your inner harp to sound its opening note of readiness. The scroll rests before you, the light has come back, and the power indeed, the power is yours to take up again. If something within you awakens in this moment, write, "I'm ready to remember" in the comments. Rain drummed on the window like an invisible clock, each drop counting down a life worn thin. Laura sat at a cramped kitchen table, hands tight around a chipped cup of tepid coffee. Statements were spread before her utilities rent delinquent cards, each bearing a red notice that read like condemnation. The scent of scorched toast lingered, mixing with the fading traces of hope. She had followed every directive the world prescribed. She held down 2 positions day shifts at a neighborhood market and late-night office cleaning. She greeted customers with a smile despite aching feet. She skipped meals to cover her daughter's school needs. She burned candles, prayed cut coupons, and yet nothing shifted. Month after month, she functioned on fumes, her spirit worn like the frayed cuffs of her lone winter coat. Laura had faith in God, at least she once did. Lately, her prayers felt like shouts into emptiness, strained, unreturned, and exhausted. Yet a whisper arrived. Not a literal voice or vision, simply a moment, a tug. While hunting a second-hand pair of shoes for her daughter at a thrift shop, she noticed it, a slim, leather-bound volume tucked among cookbooks and vintage romances. The spine bore no title, only a faint gilded circle on the cover, a sun ringed with stars. Drawn by curiosity, she opened it. Within, she discovered a narrative, unusual, lyrical, symbolic. Yet something inside her went quiet. Her heartbeat found a cadence long forgotten. On the final page, 7 words appeared in exacting antique hand: "I command, because I remember who I am." She purchased the book for $1. That evening, once her daughter was asleep, Laura lit her last remaining candle. She returned to the table where bills still seemed to indict her and reopened the book. She shaped the words with hesitant lips. Though the phrasing felt ancient, it awakened something ageless within. The sentences did not petition, they made proclamations. She repeated them, and again, this time with breath and conviction. And something turned. She sensed it, a warmth, a tremor in her chest, a gentle current moving up her spine, as though an invisible string had been plucked. Tears gathered not from sorrow or dread, but from recognition. These lines, this prayer, remembered her, and now she remembered it. The following day looked unchanged, same work, same modest wage. Inwardly, however, something had rotated. Where she once sighed, "I'm barely getting by," her inner voice now murmured, "I am a daughter of the Most High. I command supply." Nothing happened overnight. The invoices kept arriving. Her supervisor still snapped. Yet the prayer had tuned her frequency, and the external world had started to respond. 2 weeks en route to her evening shift, she noticed a hiring sign in a boutique she had long admired. It felt beyond her sleeker and more polished than any place she had worked. But the prayer rose within, "I remember who I am." She stepped inside and submitted an application. By week's end, she was hired with increased pay, improved hours, and an environment marked by courtesy and care. Then the phone rang. An aunt estranged for years had died and left a modest inheritance. It covered her debts and provided a cushion for her daughter's future. Not a fortune, but sufficient, enough to breathe free. That night, lighting the candle once more, she wept, not from desperation, but because she felt remembered. She surveyed the cramped kitchen, the same room, the same battered cups, and everything appeared altered, not due to external change, but because she herself had changed. Laura no longer moved through life pleading for leftovers from heaven. She moved with authority clear, steady, and grounded in her awareness of divine inheritance. The lost prayer of Solomon became her stabilizing anchor. It was not superstition. It was not sorcery. It was alignment. And with each repetition, her whole being resonated with the recollection of her true identity. She started instructing her daughter not only in the prayer, but in its underlying truth. We are not designed for mere survival. We are not cut off from source, and abundance is not achieved so much as recalled. She shared it with friends with a woman waiting at the market checkout. Some dismissed it, others leaned closer. Much as you are doing now, because perhaps you too are weary of doing everything right, yet feeling misaligned. Perhaps you have labored, strained, and prayed, and still wondered why heaven stays quiet. Perhaps you are ready to shift from pleading to authority, from scarcity to overflow. Laura is not invented. She is real, though her given name may vary, and her story resonates in many lives. She embodies rediscovery, confirming that ancient truth still moves, breathes, and answers. And if she could rise, so can you. Have you felt you did everything correctly, yet saw no fruit? Share your experience. Your testimony may become another's turning point. A deep misconception lingers in our world, a muted, painful distortion that leaves multitudes praying with tight fists and shaking voices. It is the assumption that prayer is a form of pleading. Yet the lost prayer of Solomon breaks that illusion apart like glass blazing in daylight. It is not supplication, it is activation. In Solomon's era, monarchs did not supplicate, they spoke, and circumstances conformed. His prayers were not pleas to a far-off God. They were communion with divine intelligence. He understood that authoritative speech was not pride, but alignment. For Solomon, prayer was never a fallback. It was the prime law, the directive of consciousness, the meeting place between spirit and material reality. He grasped what many are only now recalling prayer functions as spiritual technology. It is exact, it is encoded, and like all technology, it answers to the manner of its application. Picture your life as a cosmic computer. All facets, relationships, money, health operate on software. That software is authored by thoughts, emotions, and most powerfully, words. When you speak, you write code. When you repeat, you install the program. When you declare in faith, you deploy a new operating system for your experience. Florence Scovel Shinn termed this the law of substitution. She taught that by affirming truth, not circumstantial appearance, but divine reality, you supersede the corrupt scripts running unseen. When Solomon addressed creation, he sidestepped fear, speaking solely in harmony with the divine pattern. He did not say, "Please bless me." He said, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." He did not say, "I am afraid." He said, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear?" He did not entreat the universe to act. He directed energy to align with what he already knew as truth. This marks the great shift, from hoping to commanding, from wishing to resonating with certainty. It is like the gap between random keystrokes in search of luck and typing the exact password assured the gates will open. This is what the lost prayer of Solomon supplies the access key to divine systems. Every word and phrase is tuned for activation. It is not ornament for its own sake, it is mechanics wrapped in mystery. Like sacred architecture, it is constructed to generate resonance. Spoken with conviction, it shifts your energetic field. Your very cells answer. your electromagnetic imprint comes into coherence with supply healing and renewal. Why? Because the universe complies with vibration, not mere emotion. You could weep as you declare, "I am broke," and the universe, impartial and precise, will reflect further scarcity. But murmur, "I walk in divine supply," with even a mustard seed of assurance, and the law will start to move on your behalf. This is neither penalty nor preference. This is spiritual law. It does not sleep. It does not take sides. It simply mirrors what is authoritatively declared. Solomon's brilliance extended beyond riches and statecraft. It rested in grasping causality within the invisible. He aligned with source, spoke from oneness and creation, obeyed as surely as a river yields to gravity. Florence understood this as well. She taught that truth-filled speech breaks fear's enchantments, dissolves poverty's curses, and rewrites the agreements we unconsciously made with limitation. Your word is your wand, and the lost prayer is a monarch's wand. When Laura voiced it, she lacked formal theology and shelves of doctrine. Yet her soul recognized the mechanism. A voice once tremulous with need began to carry the resonance of remembrance, and that change altered everything. This isn't about sounding pious, it's about sounding sure. It is not about perfection, it is about alignment. Even a whisper anchored in faith can divide seas. So how is this spiritual technology applied? You give voice to the words. You let their gravity settle. You permit their meaning to flower within. You repeat not mechanically, but to strengthen the new coding each time. And when fear appears, and it will you answer with authority, I see the lie, but I remember the truth. I feel the doubt, but I declare the divine. I remember who I am. The prayer turns into your firewall, your compass, and your gate of entry. It shields the mind from obsolete scripts. It reinstates your inner authority. It summons what is already yours in the unseen and renders it visible. This is not esoteric metaphysics reserved for adepts. It is ancestral wisdom reborn on contemporary tongues. The lost prayer is not lost due to history misplacing it. It was concealed inside you, awaiting the return of your courageous voice. You are never designed to plead. You are never meant to diminish yourself. You were formed to speak realities into existence, and now the reason returns to memory. If this reframes your understanding of prayer right, I speak with authority below. A law exists older than monarchs and more precise than any human science. It cannot be bought, it does not soften for sympathy, and it does not sleep when you do, for it remains alert even in your forgetfulness. This is the law of divine correspondence, and it is ever wakeful. As gravity binds leaf, sea, and body to the earth without debate, so this spiritual law steadies your life with an unseen grasp. It rules by reflection rather than penalty, echoing not your stated intentions, but your frequency, attending not to wishes, but to what you genuinely believe when unobserved. Florence Scovel Shinn referred to this as the law of substitution and correspondence. She wrote, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy. Most people do not fail for lack of worth. They falter because they do not know. They talk of abundance while humming scarcity beneath the surface. They request love, yet carry fear's imprint. They seek clarity while hosting confusion. And the law, silent, precise, impartial, returns more of what they actually embody. This law is a mirror that never blinks. It does not interpret or critique. It merely reflects you to yourself. Imagine a river where you cast a stone, ripples expand, reaching every bank. Your words, thoughts, and emotions are those stones. The ripples are your lived reality. Some protest, I am blocked, I am cursed, I am forgotten by God. But the law replies, you are not blocked, you are misaligned, you are not under a curse, you are resonating at the frequency of what you do not desire. You have not been forgotten. You have only missed how faithfully the law answers your inner state rather than your outward pleas. A man approached Solomon and asked, "Why do the wicked prosper while the just go hungry?" Solomon did not rebuke him. Smiling, he answered, "Even the fool can harvest if he learns how to plant." This is not a moral scorecard. This is about mechanism. The law does not react to virtue. It responds to vibration, and vibration in turn follows belief. You might say, "I deserve abundance," but if inwardly you feel fraudulent, the law perceives the feeling, not the statement. You may declare, "I welcome love," yet if your energy recoils from closeness, the law registers the recoil rather than the rhetoric. It is not cruel, it is exact. And this precision is your freedom. For once you grasp that life echoes the seeds you sow, you can start sowing with precision. You can select words as Solomon did not as decoration, but as directive. You can awaken to each emotion and belief and bring your inner world into harmony with divine frequency. Florence named it the law that never fails, not because it grants every wish, but because it invariably returns what matches your alignment. It is tireless. It never forgets. It is faithful, relentlessly so. Abundance, like a river, runs without cease, yet you cannot require it to pass through you while lingering on the bank arms folded, steeped in doubt. You must step into the waters, and that starts by releasing what dams the current. Consider Ava, a friend of Laura's who recited affirmations for years. She repeated, "I am wealthy" hundreds of times, daily lit candles, built vision boards, and gave liberally. Yet nothing shifted. Her finances did not rise. Her security did not settle. Her vibration did not lift. Until one evening, worn and exasperated, she sat in solitude and asked, "What am I missing?" In the stillness, she heard it, a quiet voice, not loud yet penetrating. "You don't trust it's for you." The sentence struck like thunder. All along, she had spoken the correct lines, but underneath thrummed unworthiness. She accepted abundance as real, just not destined for her. Consequently, the law, steadfast as ever, matched her underlying belief. She wept not out of grief, but from realization. She recognized she had reached the river's edge, yet clung to the bank. She desired the current, but feared release. And she whispered, "I release the dam." The next morning, something changed. She rose lighter, moved with less strain, and in the following weeks saw movement surprise, refunds, a freelance offer, and a class action check she barely recalled joining. It was not sorcery. It was the law answering a new alignment. To enter the stream, cease engineering your own banks, release the grip, stop asking, "When will it come?" and affirm instead, "It has always been flowing. I now remember how to receive." You are not blocked. You are dammed by old beliefs. Yet even stone yields under truth. Let the prayer be your water. Let the law be your guide. And let this be the moment you stop striving and start aligning. If you are ready to enter the current, write, "I release the dam" in the comments. The temple's lamp guttered low, pouring elongated amber shadows over age-worn stone. At the room's center rested an onyx basin, its surface shivering though no hand disturbed it. Overhead, a single word had been incised into the ceiling, not in any tongue pronounceable by the mouth, yet one your spirit recognized at once: remember. This marks the threshold. You have traveled by way of curiosity. You heeded the hush of power, witnessed the turn in Laura's story, sensed the exactness of divine law, and perhaps even now the foundations of your convictions have begun to fissure. You are standing on sacred ground, not within a stone sanctuary, but inside the inner temple of your own awareness. And now, the rite summons you, not as superstition, but as sacred exactitude. Solomon did not accidentally arrive at greatness. He did not idle until wisdom descended like rain. He asked aligned and then acted with consecrated consistency. The lost prayer, cloaked in symbol and remembrance, was never designed to stay concealed. It was intended to be enacted, and it is not reserved for a select elite. It is for the few who choose. This rite, a sevenfold passage, is no device to coerce the divine, no charm to impress the cosmos. It is a practice of remembrance, a holy recalibration that wakens your soul to what it has always carried, that you are not divided from the very supply you seek. You are not merely a servant, but a co-creator. Not a drifter in desolate country, but a sovereign in the garden of sacred inheritance. And this 7-part path will instruct you in the art of return. Gradually, you will polish the lens through which you perceive. Gradually, you will lift the stones of doubt from the river of movement. Gradually, you will reclaim what was never truly lost, only misremembered. Yet before the steps comes the invitation. Understand the universe never compels. The doorway does not fly open by command. It answers an interior yes, the quiet yielding of a soul prepared to step into mastery. This rite is not for the merely curious. It is for the ready. For those weary of surface prayers and thin outcomes. For those who have declared there must be more and have dared to trust that there is. The old scroll describes the rite through emblems: flame, water, voice, breath, sound, silence, seal. Each carries a frequency. Each, once awakened, clears another veil of forgetfulness from the soul. Together, they compose the prayer's full symphony of authority. It is not theatrical, it is not arduous, yet it is sacred. And once begun, it will not be undone, for once you recall who you are, you cannot willingly return to the drowsiness of limitation. Florence Scovel Shinn would say, "There is a place that you are to fill, and no one else can fill it. Something you are to do, which no one else can do." This rite is how you locate that place, not via a chart, but within the mirror. This is not a performance. This is a permission. The ritual will not dazzle onlookers, but it will imprint the subconscious, and when truth marks the subconscious, it generates miracles without strain. Prior to Laura's overflow and before Ava's current resumed, each one said yes. Yes to the practice. Yes to the alignment. Yes to releasing the compulsion to control the how. This rite needs no candles, though you may choose them. It requires no edifice, for your body is the temple. It does not demand worthiness, only willingness. For in truth, you are already worthy. The prayer has waited not to alter you, but to awaken you to what you have always been. Part 2 will unfold the 7 steps, each disclosed, interpreted, and practiced. You will not proceed sightless. You will proceed with consecrated clarity. For now, attend the whisper. Are you ready? Ready to pass beyond theory into embodiment? Ready to move from echo into voice? ready to stop reading of miracles and begin living as one. Close your eyes only for a moment. Sense the vibration of this truth traveling through your chest, as though a hidden chord stringed with divine memory had been struck within. Let it hum. Let it rise. Let it summon your truest name, the one forgotten chosen. Sovereign. Aligned. Your presence here is not accidental. The timing is not arbitrary. The summons is not trivial. And the next step is not distant. It lives inside your willingness to advance, with reverence, with clarity, with the quiet, immovable certainty I remember. Subscribe so you do not miss the next section in which you will learn precisely how to activate this prayer within your own life. You cannot strike a target you cannot see. Still, many move through life as if lost in fog, offering prayers to heaven that resemble murmurs rather than decrees. They announce, I want success, I want happiness, I want more money. But success in which domain? Happiness by whose standard? More money indeed, but how much and toward what end? The truth is that the universe God's boundless supply answers precision, not hesitation, clarity, not hazy longing, confident requests, not apologies. I once knew a man named David. For years he declared, I want to do well in business. He labored diligently, but his progress was perennially almost an occasional sale, a tempting lead, yet nothing enduring. Why? Because his petition to the universe lacked definition. He sought a kind of success, and life returned kind of outcomes. It resembles handing a menu to a fine restaurant server and saying, bring me something. You will likely receive a dish, yet it may neither delight you nor be suitable for you at all. Your desire must be named, claimed, and framed. Name it. What precisely do you want, not the shadow or the compromise, the very thing itself? Claim it. Stand within the authority granted to you as God's child. A child does not request bread trembling that a stone will be given. Frame it. Articulate it so it stands whole, finished and perfected, not half-made or forever in progress, but complete in the theater of the mind. Think of King Solomon, when God visited him in a dream and asked, what shall I give you? Solomon did not reply, perhaps a measure of wisdom and maybe some wealth. No, he asked plainly, give your servant therefore an understanding mind to govern your people. That clarity yielded not only wisdom, but also additional blessings he had not explicitly requested. An undefined desire resembles a photograph snapped with a shaking hand. The lines smear, the details vanish. Shapes remain, but you cannot frame it and call it a masterpiece. A clear desire is crisp, vivid, and unmistakable. It is the difference between saying I want a home and proclaiming I now dwell in my sunlit 2-story brick home with white shutters and a garden brimming with lavender and roses. Say it with me now. Name it. Claim it. Frame it. The first step is not more labor, nor the creation of a vision board, nor even meditation. Your first step is to know precisely, unquestionably, unapologetically what you desire. For when you speak with precision, the angels of supply move. They receive your words as marching commands. Therefore, here is your sacred task. Set down your exact desire in the comments now. Do not pare it back for politeness. Do not shrink it for approval. The instant you write it, you have taken the first stride toward its embodiment. Soft piano sounds. While I leave you with this decree, I am clear. I am certain. My desire is named, claimed, and framed. The universe hears and responds to my clarity now. Close your eyes unless you are driving, and join me in the world that already lives within you. The subconscious does not converse in logic. It communicates in images. It is the womb of creation and cannot differentiate sharply between physical experience and intensely imagined reality. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "Whatever man feels deeply or images clearly is impressed upon the subconscious mind and must come to pass. Let us therefore pass through imagination's gates not into fantasy, but into sacred rehearsal. For what you rehearse in the mind's temple, you will enact upon the stage of your life." Take a breath and another. Now, envision yourself before your dream home. What color does the door bear? What sound does it give as it swings open? Step within. Sense the warmth of hardwood underfoot. Hear the low hum of peace pervading the air. On the kitchen counter, a bowl of fresh fruit your favorite awaits you. Enter the living room. Are the walls a gentle cream or a daring navy? Let your fingers register the texture of the sofa's fabric. Now step out into the garden, breathe in blooming jasmine, watch butterflies dancing upon the breeze. Feel sunlight press a warm kiss upon your face. This is not pretense. This is pre-birth. You are the creator. Your mind is the brush, and your life is the canvas upon which you paint. Anything you envision with clarity and feel with depth is stamped upon the subconscious, and the subconscious unfailingly manifests outcomes in line with that imprint. Thus, as you stroll these corridors of imagination, you carve fresh neural routes, attune your frequency, and bring your whole being into alignment. The person who repeatedly sees himself giving a commanding address will eventually take that stage in reality. The woman who pictures herself in her ideal dress at a new hire interview will step confidently through that office doorway. Visualization is not optional. It is law. As within, so without. As above, so below. Let us practice once more. This time, envision not only the house itself, but your lived experience inside it. Picture a morning cup of tea while your dog nestles at your feet. Listen for the laughter of friends gathered around your table. Breathe in the fragrance of rain settling on the patio stones. Sense abundance's texture, not merely possessions, but safety, ease, and effortless flow. Now, invite the emotion in. Allow gratitude to swell like an incoming tide. Let joy widen within your chest. Let peace drape around you like a warm shawl. This is the frequency of possession, the vibration of already realized. Echo these words with a gentle voice. I see it. I feel it. I live it now. My vision is vivid, and the universe responds to my clarity. Remain within this space a little longer. Inhale the fragrance of your coming life. Run your hand along the walls of your dream. Smile because in essence, it is already accomplished. Now softly return. Wiggle your fingers, then open your eyes. You have just crossed the threshold of creation. You address the divine within using its native tongue. I invite you now, if the vision was clear, if even briefly your spirit affirmed yes, that is mine, type in the comments, I have it already. For once a vision is seen with precision, only divine timing remains between you and its form. Let this declaration rise from within. I am the artist of my reality. I see my good. I feel my good. I live my good. My vision is sharp. My faith is strong. My dream is already mine. Gentle harp tones and natural sounds fade as your energy comes to rest. You have envisioned and felt it. Now give it voice so it can take form. Yet more potent than spoken affirmation is its written counterpart. When you inscribe your desire as a present tense reality, you etch it onto the tablet of your subconscious, as though a sacred statute cut into stone. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, A man can change conditions by changing his words. Consider if spoken words carry force, how much greater the written word, the word rendered visible, tangible, and lasting. Writing an affirmation plants a seed. The ever-wakeful subconscious waters it quietly until the shoot pierces the soil of your experience. Let me share Lila's story. Lila, a single mother of two, wrestled with debt and disheartenment. One night, tearful, she penned a simple affirmation in her journal: "I now receive $5,000 in unexpected income easily and joyfully." She did not stop at a single entry. For 30 consecutive nights, she wrote it again and again. She infused each line with emotion, pictured the check in her hands, and smiled as she wrote even on the days it seemed implausible. On day 28, a former employer phoned. They had discovered a past accounting error and owed her retroactive pay. 2 days later, a check arrived. The amount, 5,016. This is not mere luck. This is law in operation. So how should you craft your affirmation? Let's be precise. 1. Present tense. Phrase your affirmation as an accomplished fact. Avoid "I will" or "I hope." Choose "I now." 2. Positive language. Do not declare the unwanted. Prefer "I am healthy" rather than "I am not sick." The subconscious overlooks negation, it registers only the dominant picture. 3. Emotionally charged words. Select language that moves you. Replace "I earn more money" with "I now joyfully receive abundant wealth doing what I love." Consider these potent templates. I now live in my beautiful, peaceful dream home, surrounded by love and security. I am richly paid for my gifts and talents. Prosperity flows to me in perfect ways. I walk in divine health. Every cell of my body radiates vitality. And now, dear soul, the turn is yours. Compose your affirmation, but never from fear. Write from faith, from the certainty that creation commences as soon as ink meets page. Feel it, see it, then commit it to writing. I now invite you beneath the soft, steady tap of an imagined pen to pick up your journal, your phone, or any slip of paper and write. Not tomorrow, not later, now. For the instant you write, you exit the land of maybe and enter the domain of made. And if courage rises, if your spirit says yes, share your affirmation in the comments. Your bravery will not only hasten your manifestation, it will also embolden another to claim theirs. Speak this sacred decree with me. Now I write the vision and make it plain. My words are seeds. My faith is soil. My life blossoms with abundance, joy, and fulfillment. It is written, and so it is. Pause here. Take your time. Allow your hand to articulate what your heart already understands. Then come back, and together we will continue. A vast gulf separates asking from receiving. Many pray, affirm, and visualize, yet carry the vibration of waiting instead of possessing. However, the law of demonstration is active. It does not revolve around mere hope. It demands that you become an energetic match to what you seek. You cannot only think wealthy, you must walk as wealth, speak with wealth, breathe as wealth. You must embody the frequency of already having received. A woman once confessed, "I've been affirming abundance for years, but I still feel broke inside." I replied, "Your speech agrees, but your posture declines." Because energy is carried not only by thoughts, but by the body. It lives in your breath, your shoulders, your tone, the way you cross a threshold. Imagine a queen. She doesn't postpone regal bearing until the crown is placed. Her presence itself confirms her authority. Or think of a wealthy man entering a shop. He does not scan the room in nervous doubt about affordability. He moves with settled assurance, knowing his identity and his domain. And you must do likewise. Your subconscious reads your energy more accurately than your sentences. If you declare, "I am abundant," yet feel impoverished within manifestation stalls, not due to unworthiness, but because your inner broadcast says not yet. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "Man must prepare for the thing he has asked for when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight. Therefore, prepare now. Dress the role. Speak with authority. Move through your day as though the prayer stands fulfilled. How would your words sound if the funds were already in your account? How would your breathing feel if the diagnosis were already overturned? How would you walk if your beloved had already chosen you? Embody precisely that now. Let us practice together. Rise to your feet if possible. Roll your shoulders back. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out. Notice your spine elongate and your chest lift. Invite confidence to settle into your bones. Now voice your affirmation aloud, not with anxious whispering, but with the surety of one who knows. Speak it with joy. Speak it with power. Speak as though heaven has already answered. I now receive all that I have asked for. I live in my answered prayer. My energy matches my desire, and so it is drawn to me without delay. Observe the sensation within you. That internal shift, that resonant yes, is the opening of demonstration. You are not merely on the way. In spirit, you have already arrived. And what holds true in spirit must soon crystallize in form. Just as attire differs for a wedding versus a workout, so must your energetic clothing match the reality you're crafting. Choose colors that lift your state. Let your words carry joy before any proof arrives. Smile, for the universe is already reshaping itself to support you. This is not pretense. It is faith. It is not delusion. It is divine alignment. Therefore, take this courageous step. Stand up immediately. Breathe deeply. Speak your affirmation with authority, and then comment on how it felt. Let your voice sound like a trumpet that rouses your destiny. Your body functions as the temple where manifestation occurs. Treat it as consecrated ground. Move as if your miracle has already arrived, because in truth, it has arrived in essence. Allow this final decree to seal the practice within you. I embody the energy of fulfillment. I speak, walk, and live as one who has already received. My vibration is aligned. My demonstration is near. I am ready now. Warm, luminous strings recede as this moment roots into your spirit. Prayer is not a one-way speech. It is a dialogue, and after you state your desire, the universe begins to murmur in return. Yet the voice of spirit seldom shouts. It moves like leaf breeze, soft, subtle, a thought, a sensation, a delicate tug. Florence Scovel Shinn reminds us, man must be ever on the alert to catch the leads that come from infinite intelligence. These leads, nudges, invitations, whispers are anything but random. They are sacred breadcrumbs scattered along the trail toward your answered prayer, but you must heed them. Consider Marcus's story. For weeks, Marcus affirmed he would attract the right financial mentor, someone to help scale his enterprise. One day, he felt a strong inner nudge to attend a cross-town networking event. He nearly dismissed it. He was tired, rain poured, and he knew no attendees. Yet the inner voice persisted. So he followed it. At the gathering, he met a woman who had built a near-identical business years ahead of him. She offered free mentorship. That one connection opened doors, forged partnerships, and within 6 months, Marcus doubled his income. Obedience accelerates progress. Resistance results in delay. When you pray, show me the way you must ready your feet to follow despite inconvenience or seeming illogic. Guidance may arrive as a phone call you feel urged to return, or a course you're suddenly inspired to enroll in. Perhaps an opportunity that seems irrational on paper, yet resonates in your core. These events are not coincidences. They are the sacred choreography guiding your answer into form. But you must consent with a yes. Think of it this way. The universe transmits GPS-style directions. Your desire is the destination input. Ignore the turns and you trigger rerouting delays? The divine pattern exists already. Your obedience activates its unfolding. Even Jesus said, "I do only what I see the Father doing." He followed divine instruction, and so must we. How can you recognize a sign? You will sense it more than visually spot it. It may bring a flutter of excitement, a calm sense of peace, or a slight nervousness that resembles healthy stretching. It typically nudges you beyond comfort without pushing you into fear. It carries you nearer to your spirit's truth. And if you overlook a sign, do not be troubled. The universe is merciful and persistent. It will return the sign again and again until your yes turns into an open door. So I ask, have you noticed any signs recently? A word repeating across conversations, a book that appears repeatedly, a stranger voicing precisely what you needed to hear. These are not mere background noise. They are divine messages. Share them in the comments. They may illuminate not only your path, but another's as well. Let this gentle decree guide you like a compass, I hear. I obey. I trust the signs of the Spirit. My path is unfolding with grace. I do not delay my good. I follow divine direction now, as faint chime tones sound softly behind this moment. May you remember, your next step may defy the intellect, yet it will always bring peace to the soul. Respond swiftly and with joy. For your miracle travels along the road of your obedience. Gratitude is more than a polite thank you whispered after blessings show up. It functions like a magnet, a spiritual proclamation, declaring, I trust it's already mine. Radical gratitude does not wait to react. It acts in advance. It does not wait for outcomes, it catalyzes them. Florence Scovel Shinn expressed this truth when she said, gratitude is the law of increase and complaint is the law of decrease. Complaining aligns your energy with lack. Giving thanks in advance aligns you with abundance. Consider Elias, who affirmed for months to secure a job without results. One day, he changed course. Rather than pleading or wishing, he began a fresh ritual. Each morning, he listed 5 gratitudes, not only for existing blessings, but for those yet to arrive. He wrote, I am grateful for my perfect position where I am valued and well paid. I am grateful for a team that respects and uplifts me. I am grateful for divine right timing in all areas of my life. Within 3 weeks, an email arrived from a firm he'd applied to 6 months earlier. They had a new opening and wanted an immediate interview. The role, better than imagined. The salary, $20,000 above expectations. Gratitude created spaciousness. Gratitude cleared the path ahead. Consider gratitude a magnet. Whatever you thank, you invite to remain. Whatever you bless, you expand. Whatever you appreciate, appreciates in value. Try this practice now. Close your eyes. Rest your hand upon your heart. Speak these words. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my provision. Thank you for all that is coming to me now. Notice your heart soften in gratitude's atmosphere. Notice your mind grow quiet. That is the frequency of receiving. Gratitude tunes your being to answered prayer's wavelength. It is the soul's declaration, "It is done, and I rejoice already." It's effortless to give thanks when your account overflows. But thanking before the balance changes activates spiritual law. That is not self-deception. That is authority. Before multiplying loaves and fishes, Jesus gave thanks. He did not plead, "Please let this be enough." He blessed what was present, and it expanded. Therefore, bless your life now. Bless your home. Bless your income, even if it has not yet reached your desired level. Bless the inner vision and watch it increase. Here is your sacred invitation. Share 3 things you're grateful for right now, grand or modest. Include not only what you have, but what you know is coming. Because when you offer thanks in advance, you plant faith's flag in manifestation's soil. Let this declaration rise within you. Now I am grateful in all things. Gratitude is my magnet. I bless the seen and the unseen, the present and the promised. My life multiplies under the law of divine thanks. Let soft guitar strains carry these words deep into your heart. And remember, if you do nothing else today, offer thanks. That single act can redirect the entire course of your life. There is a cadence woven through the universe, a holy pulse, a consecrated repeating cycle. Within the esoteric language of numbers 9 conceals a potent secret. It signifies completion, the consummation of a cycle. It is the terminal digit before the wheel turns and begins anew at 1. It marks birth culmination and the gathering of harvest. Florence Scovel Shinn frequently underscored the power of repetition, saying, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy. Whatever you release day after day with steadiness and joy returns increased and amplified." And thus, we reach the concluding step, 9 days. One sacred practice, completion leading to demonstration. For the coming 9 days, you are invited into holy repetition, not as drudgery, but as ceremony. It is a deliberate act that anchors energy into place. Each day, for 9 uninterrupted days, carry out the following steps. Read your desire with crystalline clarity. Envision it as already accomplished and complete. Compose your affirmation in writing. Declare it aloud with the embodied energy of possession. Follow any signs or nudges that arrive. Offer thanks as though the matter were already completed. Treat each day like a hammer's blow, driving your intention further into the bedrock of your lived reality. A single strike cannot seat the nail securely, but 9. 9 strikes will anchor it fast. 9 will secure and fasten it. 9 will finish the work and make it whole. Picture a potter forming a bowl upon the spinning wheel. He does not lay a single hand on clay and declare the task finished. He returns repeatedly with steady hands and unwavering focus until the form is sealed and true. So you too must return, not from fear, not in frantic striving, rather in sacred, consistent discipline. Let each day serve as a vow. Let each repetition function as a firm declaration. Let each act be a seed planted in fertile ground. And by the 9th day, a real shift will have taken place. Not only within the invisible realm, but within your very self. Your gait will change. You will walk differently. Your speech will change. You will speak differently. Your inner atmosphere will change. You will feel differently. Because you will have trained and conditioned your subconscious, you have tuned and tempered your vibration, brought your inner frequency into clear, deliberate harmony, and you have signaled to heaven with unmistakable clarity, I am ready. I am steady. I am finished. One man testified that on the 7th day of his 9-day practice, he got an unexpected phone call about a position he had entirely forgotten, applying for his ideal role offered at twice the pay, arriving right on time. He had not pushed, pressured, or forced the outcome into being. He simply honored the practice, completing the process with unwavering follow-through, and the result arrived. The numeral itself holds no mechanical magic or superstition, yet there is something sacred, potent, and catalytic in the force of your consistent devotion. Therefore, I ask you directly here and now, will you make a firm commitment to complete the 9-day consecration and bring the cycle to fulfillment? Will you arrive each day not in desperation or pleading, but in authoritative affirmation and calm certainty, not to chase outcomes anxiously, but to become the embodiment of the fulfilled state you seek? If your answer is an unambiguous yes, declare it openly right now. I'm in for 9. Announce it to the universe. Let your spirit consent without hesitation and allow heaven to arrange delivery in perfect order. Let the following decree serve as your seal and signature of intent. For 9 days, I walk in truth, steadfast, aligned, and unwavering. For 9 days, I boldly claim my desire as present, rightful, and already assigned to me. For 9 days, I align with the finished vision, holding the end state as my continual reference. The work stands complete in the unseen. Its essence is already accomplished. The path is open, clear of obstruction, and illuminated for my next faithful step. The blessing is here arrived, established, and waiting to be received fully. And I receive it now with gratitude, readiness, and full acceptance. Allow a soft, steady drumbeat to reverberate through your soul as this concluding step settles in and anchors deeply. The appointed time has arrived. You will no longer stretch for fleeting manifestations or wait for a single token blessing to prove heaven's generosity. You move beyond testing into trusting. You now step into your permanent station, your rightful seat of authority, as one who inhabits not scarcity or yearning, but the continuous realm of divine dominion. Florence Scovel Shinn stated it boldly: nothing stands between man and his highest ideals but doubt and fear. Therefore, we decree those shadows are expelled, dissolved, and removed from influence. You no longer extend empty hands in supplication or beg for crumbs. You no longer plead or bargain with fate. That posture is finished. You issue command in alignment with truth, and it is done according to law. Let the former way collapse the timid, hoping the frantic, chasing the hesitant, asking that undermines your authority. That was survival mode, a consciousness of scarcity that you have outgrown. You are now sovereign, centered, clear, and crowned in inner authority. You speak and creation organizes accordingly. You affirm, and the universe shifts to your declared order. Consider a story of transformation, a person long haunted by the echo of lack who reversed her world by changing only one decisive element. Her name was Elise, a kind, faithful woman who nevertheless wrestled with unending struggle. She knew the principles, studied the books, and filled pages with affirmations, yet her life cycled back to money droughts, relational stalemates, and anxious undercurrents. Then one morning, after listening to the lost prayer, tears not yet dry, she heard a sentence rise from the well of her own soul. What if I never spoke lack again? The insight struck like lightning. She saw she had been cross-wiring her life, speaking abundance at dawn, complaining by noon. Declaring faith one day, voicing fear the next, short-circuiting her results. So she made a consecrated vow. I will no longer speak what I do not want. My word is law, and I will speak only in lawful, aligned truth. From that very moment, a tangible shift began to roll through her life. The job that had stalled her advancement unexpectedly presented a raise and fresh recognition. Her previously indifferent landlord arrived, contrite repairs, scheduled solutions offered, energy transformed. Then one morning, an old client resurfaced with a referral that blossomed into a 5-figure contract, expanding her capacity and confidence. Elise stepped into the kingdom of dominion, where demonstration is not an isolated event, but a sustained, lived identity. And now, beloved, you do likewise. You step into that same sustaining state. You no longer self-identify as someone trying to manifest or chasing results. You are the one who lives as already manifested, the result embodied as your norm. Everything you affirm is already yours in principle, and you claim it as present and actual. Declare it now, and do so with strength, dignity, and conviction. I do not visit dominion, I live here. I do not borrow blessings, I own them. I no longer whisper from the shadows, I declare from the throne. All I desire is already mine, and I call it good and very good. Draw that truth into your lungs. Breathe it in slowly and let it settle. Speak it once more, anchoring it deeper with your voice. All I desire is already mine. I am the one who lives in dominion. You are no longer in a waiting posture for blessings. You yourself are becoming the conduit and embodiment of blessing. When you enter a room, divine order accompanies your presence and changes the atmosphere. When you speak, heaven inclines its ear and creation responds. When you affirm, doors unlock, calls arrive, debts unwind, and favor starts flowing like a river. This is not a temporary mood. It is your enduring identity and way of being. Henceforth, you regard your word as a royal decree, deliberate, binding, and creative. You no longer permit phrases like these to cross your lips. I hope I can afford it. I don't know if it will work out. I'm trying to make ends meet. Such sentences are exiled from your kingdom, dismissed, annulled, and replaced. From now on, your language takes this higher form and frequency. I am the rich child of a loving Father, and I do not want. Everything unfolds in divine order. Money loves me, and I love it back. Miracles are my normal. Now repeat this and let it resonate through every cell, atom, and entrenched memory in your being. I command lack to leave. I command fear to dissolve. I command doubt to dry up at the root. I live in dominion. I live in dominion. I live in dominion. Feel the resonance of those words moving through your nerves and marrow. Allow it to settle into bone and breath, saturating your entire being with certainty. Let it cancel and nullify every inner contract you ever made with smallness, unworthiness, or limitation. You no longer serve the past or its patterns. You serve only the divine blueprint of yourself, rich, favored, radiant, powerful, whole, and complete. And now the gates stand open, swinging wide to welcome your next level. You cease running after opportunity. Opportunity seeks you out and keeps pace with your stride. You no longer chase love. You are love embodied, and it magnetizes to you naturally. You no longer fear the bill. In consciousness, the bill stands paid, and in form, it follows through. Today, I rise in dominion. I do not hope I know. I do not strive, I command. I do not beg, I bless. Everything I touch turns to gold, and my word is the key. Now, if you sense the inward shift, if some inner gear finally clicked into alignment, post your witness below. I live in dominion. Let this stand as your lasting claim, not a passing mood or momentary surge, but a stable reality you inhabit. Your dominion has begun, activated, embodied, and advancing from this moment forward. Dominion is not a single summit you scale and leave behind. It is an ongoing cadence you keep an inner pulse that governs your living. As a garden requires daily watering to remain vibrant, so your inner life must be continually nourished. You do not create your reality a single time, you tend, sustain, and broaden it from moment to moment. The subconscious, the fertile ground where miracles take root, does not respond to sporadic wishing. It responds to steady, consistent caretaking. Therefore, we move into the practice of dominion, the everyday choreography of alignment. Inhale now, picture dawn's first light upon your skin, the sacred hush before the world awakens. You rise carrying willingness, not worry. You rise in declaration rather than dread. You set your feet to the floor and proclaim, today is blessed. Today is divine. Today is filled with favor, wealth, love, and revelation. I expect miracles, and they are already here. And this precisely here is where the flow begins. Here is a truth few grasp, most do not lose manifestations due to outer turmoil. They lose traction in the silence between declarations, in those gaps where doubt creeps back like weeds in an unkept garden. You, beloved, will keep your field clear and tended. You will be a faithful gardener, present rather than frantic, attentive rather than obsessive. Each day you water your vision with gratitude. Each morning you prune your thinking with truth. Each evening you harvest miracles, large or small, with joyful praise. This is the method for sustaining the flow. This is how the unseen moves into form. Now let us walk through your daily dominion routine and allow it to sink deep into your spirit. Step 1. The morning declaration. Before the world attempts to define you, you define yourself to the world. Prior to news messages and noise, you speak, my supply is unlimited. My joy is complete. My good is rushing toward me now. I am aligned with divine mind, and nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. Step 2. The gratitude fire. Gratitude is more than thanks for what occurred. It magnetizes what is on the way. So you enumerate, I am grateful for the roof above me. I am grateful for the money that circulates in my life. I am grateful for the opportunity to expand, to create, to serve. I am grateful for every divine delay and every divine acceleration. Gratitude transforms even the waiting room into sacred space. Step 3. Visualization as command. Not as idle wish or fantasy, but as a preview of truth. You see it, you feel it, you allow it to move through your body. The phone call confirming the contract, the keys pressed into your palm, the laughter that fills a healed family. You are not inventing, you are remembering your future. Florence said, man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. Therefore, you see it daily, not as strain, but as embodiment. Step 4. Midday realignment. The world will attempt to pull you off center, traffic bills, a stinging message. But you are no longer governed by reactivity. You return deliberately to alignment. You pause. You take a single conscious breath. And you declare, this is not the truth. Only good is true. Only supply is true. Only love is true. I return to divine order now. This, beloved, is how you water the soil of your soul. Step 5. evening, praise, and reset. As you retire, you do not replay the day's missteps. You honor the day's harvest, whether abundant or subtle. You say, "Thank you, Divine Mind, for every sign. Thank you for the favor I saw and the favor still forming. I rest in peace, for my angels go before me." You bless the day and close it with reverence. You close the loop and reset the field, and then you sleep as royalty sleeps. Allow me to share a gentle story. A man named Jacob worked in sales, and for years he fell into cycles, strong months followed by long, dry spells. After a profound spiritual awakening, he resolved to tend his mind like a garden. He scheduled 3 daily reminders on his phone, morning, noon, and night. Each reminder carried a message from his soul. You are in divine timing. Supply is on schedule. Money is already moving. Initially, nothing outward appeared to change. Yet inwardly, something was undeniably shifting. Where panic once rose, calm now settled. Where hesitation lingered, boldness took its place. Within 30 days, his income doubled, and he was invited to partner in a venture he had only dreamed about before. What truly had he done? He maintained the flow, kept the current unbroken. He kept himself in spiritual condition. He faithfully tended his inner garden. And so shall you. No more sliding backward spiritually. No more intermittent stop-start faith. You are rooted and established now. Your discipline flows not from fear, but from delight. You no longer ask, "Is it working?" You know firmly that you are working the word, and the word is working on your behalf. Declare this with me now: I am faithful to my flow. I speak truth daily. I water my good with gratitude. I visualize with power. I live as if it is already done, because it is. This is your rhythm from this day forward. This is your sacred maintenance practice. Therefore, I ask you, what is your daily abundance ritual? Do you make declarations at dawn? Do you sing affirmations in the shower? Do you journal by candlelight? Share it below, for when you reveal your flow, you inspire others to discover their own. And together, we rise. Comment below with your daily abundance ritual. Your practice may become the key that unlocks another person's dominion. Your journey was never intended to end at a personal breakthrough. Spiritual law does not enrich you for private hoarding. It empowers you so that you can become a conduit of blessing. This marks the transition from mere manifestation to service, from prosperity into purpose, from short-term gains to enduring legacy. What benefit is a castle if no one finds refuge within its walls? What joy does wealth bring if it is sequestered by fear? What power has healing if it never moves outward to restore others? Florence Scovel Shinn reminds us man receives only that which he gives. Therefore, as you enter a season of abundance, your questions expand beyond self-interest. What can I gain? And also, who can I lift? Who can I cover? Who is still waiting for a miracle that I now have the power to be? Because once your good turns outward as a gift, it multiplies in impact. Let me offer a story. Jared, a soft-spoken dreamer in his late 30s, carried a gentle spirit. For years, he wrestled with money perpetually behind on rent, witnessing his aspirations from the margins. During a bleak winter, he adopted the lost prayer, whispering it each night beside a flickering candle with a tender, trembling heart. Then one night, a shift occurred. He stopped petitioning for money and asked to be an instrument. He said, "Divine Mind, give through me, prosper through me, heal through me." And then the way opened. Within a few months, he secured a remote role that tripled his earnings. He brought stability to his life, cleared years of debt, and earmarked a portion of income not for acquisitions, but for people. He founded a hometown scholarship for underserved youth, first 1 student, then 3, then 10. In 2 years, 25 students had entered college on scholarships he funded. Whenever he spoke of it, he would say, "My real breakthrough wasn't the money, it was realizing I was the blessing I used to pray for." That is legacy in motion. That is the deeper miracle. You were not sent merely to receive. You are here to give from surplus. Your calling is not to hoard, but to sow generously. And the exquisite law at work is this: the more you give with joy and precision, the more divine mind entrusts you with greater flow. Not as wages earned, but because you can be trusted as a channel for circulation. Therefore, ask yourself now, whom might I mentor even 10 minutes weekly? Who in my family could use encouragement, counsel, or even a shared meal? Which organization or soul-led cause resonates with my heart's purpose? How might I tithe not from guilt, but from gratitude? Generosity does not begin at 1 million, it begins now. Sow now, and the harvest will astonish you. Say this out loud: I am a channel of divine wealth. Money flows to me freely and through me powerfully. I give with joy, and I receive with grace. My overflow blesses nations. Again, I tithe to where I am spiritually fed. I give where my heart is called. I do not fear running out. I only expect running over. You are not called to clutch or cling. You are summoned to create and circulate. The more you release, the more heaven pours in to refill. Do not postpone giving until you feel ready, because giving from where you are proves the faith you profess. And faith is the one currency the universe invariably honors. Picture your abundance as a river unceasing in its flow. What occurs when you dam, trap, or hoard its waters? It stagnates and grows stale. But what unfolds when you let it run its course? It purifies, nourishes, and expands its banks. Therefore, become a river of generosity. The gift may be money or wisdom, or your story, the one once cloaked in shame, now raised to strengthen another. You yourself become the blessing. Declare this boldly: now I was blessed to bless. I was healed to heal. I was freed to free others. I carry a legacy that multiplies long after I speak. And so I ask you now, how will you employ your abundance to elevate others? This is no trivial inquiry. This is your next sacred assignment. Your answer may be grand or modest, arriving as a whisper or as a vivid vision, but it will come certainly. And when it arrives, you follow its lead, because that is when your breakthrough expands into a movement. You shift from recipient to radiant transmitter, from pleading for help to becoming the answer in another's life. And that is prosperity with wings. Share in the comments one way you will use your abundance to uplift others. Let your intention plant the first seed. The harvest, beloved, will leave you astonished. Now we cross into sacred terrain. You have spoken the word. You have openly declared and affirmed your dominion, stepping into it without hesitation. You have diligently watered the garden of your good, nurturing it with practice, praise, and persistence. And now you are invited to descend further into holy quiet, into consecrated sound, into the hidden place of the Most High, where prayer transforms into pure presence and decree ripens into divine activation. This precisely is the realm and register of advanced prayer. Florence Scovel Shinn knew this territory well. Her prayers were never lengthy or overwrought, never emotional pleading, but concise, unequivocal, and cloaked in reverence. She understood a vital axiom. Prayer is not persuasion. Prayer is positioning and alignment. You do not engage prayer to petition as a beggar. You pray to realign your consciousness with the divine blueprint. And the deeper your alignment becomes, the swifter your demonstration arrives in form. Picture yourself crossing the threshold of a sacred temple, the air dense with frankincense, golden light, falling through high windows, a reverent hush resting upon everything. You are not simply hearing, you are truly entering in. To fast is to subtract distraction not only from food, but from anything that muffles spiritual hearing. You fast from fear, from complaint, from low, careless words. You carve out space, and that space becomes a sanctuary. In a fast, your prayers reverberate more loudly in the inner chambers of the subconscious. Practice this for one full day. Speak only what you desire to behold. Abstain from negative reports, from gossip, from worry, from noise. And throughout the day, keep repeating the following: I fast from fear. I feast on faith. My word is my banquet, and I eat the bread of divine supply. Sound bears vibration, and vibration bears intention. Music selected with reverence becomes a carrier wave for the word. You can choose chant, ancient flute, or a single high vibrational tone. As you proclaim, affirmations sound ferries them farther into the unseen. Try this: let sacred music play softly, no lyrics, only vibration, and then declare the following: as this sound surrounds me, so does divine supply. As this note rises, so does my demonstration. I dwell in a field of miracles. There exists a level of prayer beyond words where presence itself is prayer. You sit in quiet. You let the divine communicate through impression, through breath, through simple being. Silence is not a void, it is fullness, saturated and alive. Light a single candle. Set a timer for 7 minutes. Do not speak. Do not ask. Simply be. And as you rest there, hold not problems, but this contemplation: I am one with the field of all good. Even now it moves on my behalf. There is a hidden potency in calling the divine by a name, not necessarily a sectarian title, but the one that vibrates at the core of your spirit. For some, it is divine mind; for others, beloved; for others, I am. When you voice that name, you awaken the creative pattern associated with its frequency. Speak it aloud with intention: I call on the holy pattern of supply. I call on the divine name that knows no lack. I speak not to ask, but to remember I am already answered. Now we braid multidimensional declarations into one rhythm: money, love, health, purpose, spoken together in a single sacred breath. Say it with me now in steady cadence: money flows, love grows, my body glows, my purpose shows. I walk in light, I sleep in peace, I speak and lack must cease. Allow your voice to locate the rhythm. Let your body sync with the pulse. Repeat it 3 times and then again. Feel momentum building. The words turn into rhythm. The rhythm concentrates into power. The power precipitates into manifestation. Now envision yourself robed in golden light from crown to soul. This light is not idle, it is creative force. You speak from within its field, and every word carries voltage, precision, and immediacy. Speak this decree now from within the light: I am wrapped in light. I speak from light. I decree in light, and all darkness disappears. Wherever I walk, doors open. Wherever I speak, heaven responds. This has moved beyond personal petition. It is a higher operation entirely. This is cosmic decree creation level speech. You are not soliciting favor. You are proclaiming your arrival and authority. These practices are sacred, potent, and advanced. Do not rush or stage them. Enter with reverence. Choose one method and keep it for 7 days. Observe what shifts. Then add another. Each practice is a key, each a doorway to further demonstration. And now I extend this invitation. If you desire a full guide, a thorough sacred manual on these practices and others, comment below. Go deeper. When the soul is ready, the teacher appears, and with that readiness, the practice widens and deepens. Remember this truth: you are not a beginner in essence. You are recollecting your priesthood, your ancient role of sacred agency. You are reactivating ancient knowledge long held in your spiritual memory. And when you speak now, heaven inclines and attends with focus. You are the temple, living, breathing, consecrated. You are the altar where offering and answer meet. You are the prayer presence embodied as petition and power, and it stands already answered, resolved in the divine. Something sacred, almost electric, unfolds when testimony is voiced out loud. It is far more than a simple story. It is a spark that ignites faith in listening hearts. It is the echo and evidence of the word fulfilled in real life. It is a proclamation to every listening spirit. This too is possible for you. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that one demonstration opens the door to the next, not merely for the recipient, but for every witness who hears. Hence, we enter the sacred circle of testimony, where miracles multiply, where praise grants permission, and where yesterday's impossible becomes another person's new reality. Let these voices wash over you. Let them awaken something inside. Let them remind you that the word works without fail. Amira, a single mother of 2 in Atlanta, had cycled through unstable jobs for more than 5 years. One night, weeping on her kitchen floor, she stumbled upon the lost prayer. She pressed play, scarcely believing, but an inner nudge whispered, "Just listen." For 21 consecutive mornings, she played it while packing lunches, brushing little heads and preparing again for the job hunt. By the 14th day, she received an offer from a firm she had never even applied to, a role with remote flexibility, full benefits, and a salary surpassing anything she had dared to journal. She named it "The Blessing That Heard My Name." Now her mornings begin not with fear, but with this declaration: I rise with confidence. I walk in divine favor. My children are covered. My home is full, and every need is met before I speak it. Javier, a retired electrician in Arizona, suffered chronic nerve pain for more than a decade. Treatments were prescribed, but lasting relief never came. One day, his daughter handed him a printed copy of the Lost Prayer and urged, "Read this out loud." "Just try it, Dad." He resisted at first, reluctant and skeptical. After a grueling night, he sat on the porch at dawn and began softly whispering the words. Each morning, he read it slowly and deliberately, sometimes pausing to weep between lines. Within 3 weeks, the pain noticeably diminished. Within 2 months, it was almost entirely gone. His physicians were baffled. He simply smiled and said, "My nervous system met divine order." Now he volunteers at the local clinic, reading the prayer aloud for any willing listener. His testimony has become his ministry and mission. Lena and Marco, a young couple in Sao Paulo, faced the collapse of their small bakery. Sales had fallen, bills had stacked up, and closure loomed. One night, they vowed a 3-day fast from fear, no complaining, no doom scrolling, no speech of lack. Instead, they filled the kitchen with sacred music and spoke aloud the following divine right: clients appear now. Our ovens bake abundance. Every loaf is a blessing. Every sale is a seed. They rewrote product descriptions to include affirmations and inscribed blessings on every box. Within a week, a local food blogger's viral video featured their cinnamon rolls. Orders poured in from all directions. Within 6 months, they hired 2 additional staff members and expanded their hours. Now they affectionately call the bakery the House of Demonstration. The miracles did not stop at their door. Inspired, their cousin began affirming over her faltering art business. She has just secured her first gallery contract. Their previously skeptical neighbor listens to the lost prayer every Sunday and swears his arthritis has improved. One breakthrough multiplies into many breakthroughs. One healed heart turns into a healer of others. One demonstration becomes the momentum that fuels a movement. And it reaches beyond money, health, or opportunity. It reaches identity itself. When you hear these accounts, you do not merely say, "Wow, that's amazing." You say, "That is possible for me." You say, "I claim that for my life." You say, "The law that worked for them works for me and more." Allow the energy to rise now. Let the spirit of testimony awaken within you. Speak this aloud with me. If it happened for one, it can happen for me. If the word worked for them, it works for me. If miracles flowed there, they flow here. You are no longer merely a listener at the edge of the circle. You are a participant in the multiplication of miracles. Your own miracle is congealing even now, and someone out there awaits your story for their faith. Your answered prayer may become the very seed of another's deliverance. Therefore, I ask you now sincerely, what has the lost prayer accomplished in your life so far? Has it brought peace where once there was panic? A check arriving in the mail, a new client, a body healed, a relationship restored and renewed. Whether great or modest, your testimony matters profoundly, because testimony functions as prophecy in motion. It is the word fulfilled and the word extended into new lives. When you share, you say to the universe explicitly, "Do it again, do it here, do it for someone else." And so with reverence, with joy, and with the electricity of demonstration in the air, I invite you now to act. Share your testimony below for all to witness. Write it, speak it, let it be seen and heard. Because your words may become the water another heart needs to grow. And together, we amplify and multiply the miracles. This is the appointed moment, the hinge point. The word has gone forth spoken and set in motion. Truth has been recalled to conscious memory. Miracles have already begun to multiply and echo outward. And now we bring a seal to it all. Not as a mere wish or whim, not as a simple request or petition, rather as a united collective decree. Across distances and timelines, countless voices now join you, unseen, yet unmistakably present, each bearing the same flame, each voicing the same sacred reality. It is done. This demonstrates the power of a collective field where energy does not merely add up, it compounds and multiplies. Your voice is no longer a solitary note. It resounds like thunder in the spirit. It becomes the trumpet call of demonstration. It is the very sound of dominion ascending. And so we commence the rite. Draw a deliberate breath. Set one hand upon your heart, the other open, uplifted toward the heavens. Sense the gravity of this moment, the consecrated holiness of it. You are not merely entering another prayer. You are stepping into activation and enactment. Speak the following aloud as though all creation leans in to listen. I stand in my divine authority. I speak as one aligned with divine mind. Every word I say is a decree. Every breath I take is abundance. I live in the vibration of it is done. Once more, this time with even greater force and certainty, I rise as the Word made flesh. Lack has no place in my life. Delay dissolves now. I walk in miracles daily. Now we enter the lost prayer not as passive listeners, but as deliberate co-creators. Let us voice it together, line by line. Let us move in call and response. Let it echo through your being. Let it loosen and shake off the old patterns. Let it press its imprint upon your soul. I will speak each line, and you will return it aloud with total authority. This constitutes your divine decree. Are you prepared? Then let us begin. I am the child of the divine. I am the child of the divine, and all that is mine by divine right, and all that is mine by divine right now, comes to me with speed. Now comes to me with speed. Under grace, in perfect ways. In perfect ways. No person, place, or thing. No person, place, or thing can withhold that which belongs to me by divine law. Can withhold that which belongs to me by divine law. Every delay is dissolved. Every delay is dissolved. Every obstacle removed. Every obstacle removed. I walk through doors already opened. I walk through doors already opened. I receive what is mine with joy. I receive what is mine with joy. I release all fear. I release all fear. I release all doubt. I release all doubt. I speak only the truth of my abundance. I speak only the truth of my abundance. And I live as if it is already done. And I live as if it is already done. Because it is. Because it is. It is done. 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 Now allow a stretch of silence to follow. Let the decree soak in and settle deeply. You stand now within the field of fulfillment itself. Your spoken words have traced new timelines and possibilities. Your voice has brought heaven nearer to your lived experience. Your decree has been received and is now law to your affairs. And this is not an ending. This is the threshold of your new beginning. From this point, your walk will change, measured, assured. You will speak from the throne within calm, certain, authoritative. You will awaken each day expecting evidence. Because evidence follows the faith that behaves as though it already possesses the promise. This collective activation continues beyond the final syllable. It continues through your daily choices, through your rituals and steady practices, in the generosity you extend, in your bold willingness to say, yes, I am living proof that the word works. Therefore, let us declare together one last unified time. I live in dominion. I walk in divine flow. I give from overflow. I receive without resistance. And my life is a testimony to the living law of demonstration. Now breathe that truth inward fully. Let it rest upon you like anointing oil. You are anointed, set apart, and empowered. You are appointed, chosen for this hour. You are affirmed, confirmed in purpose and promise. And now if you sensed the activation in body breath and bone, if something within you shifted for good, then comment below, "It is done," and share this moment with someone you love, someone poised for their own breakthrough. Your ripple becomes waves that move outward. Your word continues to create worlds, and together, we rise.